The Books That Shaped Me is proudly sponsored by WinStar Insurance Group, right out of Cedar Park, Texas. Owned and operated by Stephanie Dew, my dear friend. Early on in her career, she knew what it was like to feel undervalued. And she vowed that if she ever had an opportunity to be in leadership, she was going to do it different. And she does. She values each of her employees and her clients with the utmost integrity and respect and kindness that you'd ever imagine. So they've got a specialty in their business. They take care of first responders. They've got wineries, breweries, childcare facilities, and the employees themselves are so excited to be there. And they talk about how they haven't felt valued anywhere else like they do there. So it's hats off to Stephanie and WinStar Insurance Group because our values align with faith, trust, and authenticity. Thank you, Stephanie, from the bottom of my heart and those of us that hang out with the books that shaped me. Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of The Books That Shaped Me. I'm Angie Smith. I'm your host, and I couldn't be more delighted than to be in this moment right here, right now, with Miss Nichola Cotto.
Well, thank you.
You, my friend, are a light, and you are shining a light so bright. And I can't help but want to just be in your orbit of the things that you are up to.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you so much.
I can't wait to hear what you're willing to share with us about your leadership journey. And I just want to just share with the audience that I haven't been a fangirl of Nichola for very long at all. The time is short-ish, but in that time, I've learned so much and had the opportunity to have a one-on-one session with you, pouring into me some experience and wisdom and mentorship guidance. And already I feel like my life is multiplied because of that. So,
thank you.
So it is a treasure and a pleasure to be here, and even in these chairs.
Yeah, yeah, these chairs have a story.
The chairs have a story. So I get to hang out in this awesome studio, of course, through Teresa and Royal Pour with the Unbreakable Studios. And these chairs were blessed to the overall good energy here through yourself.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Thank you.
I'd like to give you a chance to say your hello and kind of what's on your heart and mind today, ma'am.
Well, hi. I'm just really happy to be here. I've been in a cocoon for the last 2 years, so this is a nice welcome back to the world of being out and about. And it's my pleasure to be here. And you're such a sweetheart. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, I am again honored to have you, ma'am. So some of the things that I have been geeking out on about what you're up to really have a huge impact in the world, and you have always kind of had a heart and a passion for supporting women.
Yes.
And so that's definitely something I want to hear about, but I do like to be a nosy Rosie and kind of go back to a little bit of your origin story.
Yeah.
So would you kind of let us know, what was life growing up for young Nichola?
Oh, it was great. I grew up in England. I have 5 brothers. I'm the oldest.
Okay.
So, a bit of a tomboy growing up, fight my way through all the testosterone in the family. But I had a great childhood. Yeah, I got to, travel Europe when I was very young. Our school trips are like Paris, France, Amsterdam. Those were like regular trips for us.
Wow.
Got to live in Spain when I was young, Switzerland. I've lived all over Europe. And yeah, and then went to performing arts college. I was a professional dancer, and then got to travel the world doing that. And that's how I met my husband and came here.
Goodness. Well, that was beautiful and faster than I prefer.
What part of that do you want to dissect?
I guess the first part I want to ask is what gave you, your family, the opportunity to move to so many countries? Was it military?
No, not at all. My dad was a musician.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
He was a drummer. So he was in bands. So, and not only that, he was continental, they call them continental bus drivers. So he would drive luxury coaches and take people on vacations. It was so funny because he would get me out of school and say, like, you're coming with me because I need you to be a hostess on the bus and sell Cokes and cups of tea to all of the people going across to Europe. So I got to travel a lot when I was like early teenage. He would take me out, and that's the best education I got. So yeah.
Do you speak any other languages?
I used to speak Italian fluently because I lived there. I lived there as an adult when I left home. So I used to, but it's been a very long time.
So you're the oldest. You've got the 5 younger brothers.
Mhm.
You got to be the hostess on the coach buses.
Yeah.
Did your brothers also get to?
Oh, no.
Oh,
No. They were, footballers. Football is big in England, footballers. And, I'm the only girl. So a lot of attention got put on me. I was put in dance class when I was 9, got my first actual paid job when I was 9 years old, made my first paycheck at 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So I used to travel a lot with auditions and dancing.
Oh my goodness. And was it ballet or did you also have other?
It was a wide range of dancing. It was ballet, tap, jazz, modern, all that kind of stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
And I know that you have had a stint once you've been here with fitness, keeping fitness top
Yeah.
of mind.
Yeah, I have. Numerous fitness endeavors. So we used to have an online fitness company long before online fitness was ever a thing, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I used to be the fitness director for National Instruments here in Austin.
Oh wow.
Which I think is Emerson now. It got acquired. We've owned our own gym, bought it, built it, extended it, sold it. Yeah. So I was in fitness for a long, long time, because moving from England and then, getting married, obviously you can't travel as a dancer no more. So like I committed my life to being married and, getting a family. So the next best thing for movement for me was to just transition into fitness.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And I did that for 23, 24 years. Yeah.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah.
So if I may, I just shared that you and I've had an opportunity recently to connect at a personal level, but really when I stretch back into my history of my life 2 years back, our paths actually crossed then.
Yeah.
When I said yes to being part of the Unbreakable book that Teresa kind of spearheaded the Pieces to Purpose. And so we had an opportunity in the Cedar Park Center to kind of launch the Unbreakable experience of the book. And it was a beautiful night. And we were gifted a book. And it was called We Are Not Broken.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I didn't understand the power and the beauty of what I held in my hand. Would you unpack a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when I retired from fitness, I was not ready to be fully retired, but I was ready to be retired from fitness because I had done it for so long and I had gone really as far as my career would take me, or that I wanted to go with it. So I was really searching and seeking for what I was going to do next, and ended up launching and creating this nonprofit called We Are Not Broken. And I had a dream right in the beginning, before I even got my 501c3, that this mission I would publish a book through it, and I would have the first coffee table book of scars. And really, that's how that book came to be. And through the generous donation of two of the most amazing human beings on the planet, made that possible for me to do that. Yeah.
Unpack further, please.
The whole nonprofit, for me, it was really highlighting the beauty of your story through the scars that you carry. Whether they're internal scars, whether they're external scars, we carry these stories as women. But also as women, we've been told that we have to look a certain way, act a certain way. And sometimes those scars can be really ugly. For the person who's carrying them, not for the person who's looking, but sometimes for the person who's looking too. That's just the society we live in. And I hated that. So my journey from fitness, like listening to women over and over and over again beat themselves up. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not enough, was the end of that whole 24-year journey. It was like, something has to be done about that. And, I've told this story so many times, but I had this friend who, had this beautiful scar. It was a butterfly scar, and the butterfly wings went all over the scars, took a picture of it. And I just put it out one night on Facebook and said, if anybody wants me to take a picture of their scars, I would love to do that. And from that was birthed We Are Not Broken.
Wow.
And it started from literally one camera in a spare bedroom because our youngest son had moved out. So I turned it into a little makeshift studio, knew nothing about photography, into a six-figure, great nonprofit organization. Yeah, over
Wow.
almost 7 years.
Wow. And the stories that you captured in that book, We Are Not Broken, have brought tears.
Oh, those stories, just the cover story alone. She knew she was dying. I flew to Kentucky to get that story. I literally got on. She had a week to live, and I contacted her. I knew her sister. I didn't know her, but I knew her sister through the military community, and asked for permission to reach out to her, and I did. And they were so gracious. The family was so gracious that I jumped on the next flight. I got to Kentucky. I flew into Nashville, drove to Kentucky. Um, and what was great about that story is she had a history, and before she died, she wanted to come back to Christ. And I was able to, through my connections through the military, I was able to set up through a church to get her baptized before she passed away.
Oh, wow.
So she was able to get baptized. We were able to capture her story. And then a week later, I think she passed away. So it's very important that that story, she be the cover, but also that was for her daughters and her children. So that whole book was dedicated to her. And the women in it and the girls in it.
I'm always amazed at how something that starts so small can grow into something so huge and impactful.
Yeah.
I mean, you just shared one picture of a butterfly scar and how you impacted and continue to bless. Even right now, I'm reading the book and it's blessing me so much.
Yeah. And I told over 500 stories in that book, and I can remember every single one.
Wow.
Every single one impacted me, and I know they were coming in there thinking this is going to change them, and it did on some level, but it changed me so much. Listening to their stories, highlighting their stories, telling their stories, it was very, very impactful. Wow. Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of, it's coming up already in what you've shared thus far, but what are some of, would you say, your driving values that have kind of guided you as you've navigated fitness and reshaping the definition of beauty?
I have this never quit attitude. Like it's not in me to quit. I love God. Obviously, everybody who knows me knows that I put him at the forefront of everything that I do. And I ask permission before I do anything. Can I do this? Should I do this? Filter it through that lens. And the older I get, the more I'm like, just because I could, doesn't mean that I should. So everything I filter now through that lens. But also I ask for permission before I do anything, because I want to know that whatever I'm doing glorifies God in some form or fashion. And then just that not quit attitude. I'm just never going to quit. If I set my mind to it, I'm just not going to quit. And if I don't achieve it, at least I know I've given it my everything, and then I'll move on to the next thing.
So what have you moved on to?
So right now I'm in school. I have a full class load. I'm getting ready to pick up 7 more classes for my final semester before I graduate in December with my second degree. And then I'll start my MPA in January, graduate school. So, I've been saying it now for like 2 years. I set a goal in the beginning. I want to get 3 degrees in 3 years. I already have a degree. So that'll actually be 4 degrees that I have. And really that was not to make me more marketable for anything, but that was really to prove that I can do this for myself. I can sharpen the skills that I want to learn something else, and I can sharpen those skills that I have for me.
What are some of the takeaways you've experienced as you've been like heads down and focusing, and you're churning through this? You already got the first degree under your belt, which is added to your existing, and now you're here and you've got a site for December and you've got one more. Like what's bubbling up for you, what you've found out thus far in this journey?
That I want more. I've always been a student of learning. Like I'm if you know me, you knew I'm a huge, huge, huge researcher. I will go to the bottom of wherever I need to get to find out the research on what I want to learn about. It's like I want to master something. I know you can't master anything, but I want to learn as much as I can about it. So the more classes I pick up, the more hungry I get for more learning. So when I was in fitness, I used to call myself a student of human movement. So that's what I was. I wasn't a trainer. I wasn't, this. I wasn't your fitness group exercise. I was a student of human movement. And whatever I learned, I would pass on so that you could move better. So that's now translated into what I'm doing so that I can be better for me, that I can also pass on what I've learned to be better for another woman.
So powerful. I feel like that fighting energy that you got having those 5 brothers maybe fueled a little bit.
Oh, 100%. We were always fighting, like physically fighting. I didn't grow up as a girly girl.
I ain't going down.
No, and I have some phenomenal uncles. I grew up around a lot of men. So, yeah, I'm a scrapper.
That's one of my favorite adjectives myself. I feel scrappy.
Yeah.
Not always polished, but we'll get it done.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're getting these degrees. What else would you say is happening for you? What is the end goal for once you've got your 3 degrees in 3 years?
Oh, my goodness. So there's so much. I mean, I'd love to lead a city. I would love to be a city manager. But you know what? It's hard for me to say, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Because as I take every day and every semester as it comes, I learn more about myself and the capabilities that I have and where I would be positioned to be more effective to affect a greater change for women.
Yeah.
So right now, yes, I can sit here and say I would love to be a city manager and my degree path is going that way. However, I have not started graduate school yet. So my graduate program could change come January. Okay. I don't know. I'm just really being led by God at this point. My wants, that's what I would want.
Yeah.
That's what I'm striving towards. That's what I'm researching and learning. But I'm never going to say, this is what I'm going to do.
Right. You said a trajectory and you're open to the Lord's direction.
100%.
In Texas, there's a saying that says, this is what I want to do. God willing and the creek don't rise.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, the Lord's plan and whatever else happens.
Yeah, because it could change. I will tell you, and I'm just going to go back a little bit. I was determined that I was going to finish out my career in fitness. And I'd done every competition you can imagine. I'd done bodybuilding competitions, running, the Tough Mudder, the Spartan, the Warrior, all of them, done them all, the Urban Athlon, traveled all over America doing all of these great fitness events. And I wanted to finish up my fitness career doing a powerlifting competition, right? So I'm like, I am going to do this powerlifting competition. I'm in my, I think it was, it's 4 years, almost 5 years, so 50. I'm going to do this powerlifting competition. I was in the best shape of my life at 50 years old. Like I couldn't get any better. I was squatting 250 pounds. Woo-hoo! I was deadlifting like 275. I'm not going to tell you what my bench was because it really wasn't that good. But I was extremely, for a 50-year-old, I was in the best shape of my life. And boom, I got cancer. So it's like, okay, you're doing everything that you can do. And you have this plan, and this is going to be the best year of your life. And you can plan it out. You really can. And what I've learned is things change. And if you are not ready to be adaptable for change when it comes, then what your plans are just futile.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, that taught me a huge lesson in, I can say this is what I want to do, but I'm not going to do that ever again. I'm going to say this is the trajectory I would like to go on.
Yeah.
However, that could change.
Wisdom right there. Wisdom in the flesh.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity. So I mentioned 2 years ago, your beautiful book was placed in my hand. Recently, though, I got to hear you on Teresa's podcast, and you were sharing your experience making your way through on your plan for 3 degrees in 3 years. And you felt that the Lord told you to go somewhere you felt small.
Yes.
Will you tell that story?
Yeah. When you retire from a career and you've been busy and working and hustling for like 30 years, right? And then you find, and let me tell you, I tried to make my way back to the nonprofit, and God had closed that door for me. And I had tried for 2 years and could not make my way back. So I knew that that door was closed. And then all of a sudden I was doing nothing. And I felt myself like, this is not normal for me. This is not normal living. I am a hustler. I am a worker bee. I like to work. I like to do things. I like to make a difference. Right now, I'm not making a difference. I was really searching and seeking, God, what do you want me to do? Like, I know this is not it. I know it's not time for me to be done. Right?
Yeah.
So I just heard him say, I need you to get small. So for me, I'm a very visionary kind of person. I see things in images, and to get small for me means go to a beach, because you're never much smaller than you stood in front of an ocean, and there's an ocean in front of you, and you are this tiny little pebble on a beach, right? Because it's so vast. So I woke up and I told my husband, I'm like, hey, can you take me to a beach? I'd never been to a Texas beach. Like, and this wasn't that long ago, like maybe 2.5 years ago. And he's like, yeah. So he just happened to be off. We got up 5 o'clock in the morning, went to the closest, I think it was Port A, drove right on the beach. I got out. I don't even think he put it in park. I got out, took my shoes off, sat, and just let the waves come up. And it was like I just heard God say, you're going back to school. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to law school, because I always wanted to be a lawyer. But I heard you're going back to school. And I went that Monday when I got back. It was the weekend we did that. And it was the final week for registration. And what was crazy about it was the first year that ACC had offered free tuition to all high schoolers. So every single class was full, right? But what's crazy is when I sat with the counselor, she actually said, oh, I see that 10 years ago when you were taking some classes, a few classes here and there, you wanted to be a lawyer. It says right here. I'm like, well, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let's do paralegal. Let me get to that route. And she's like, well, I don't know if you're going to get the classes, right? She said, let me look. Boom. Got all classes, 5 classes. I was crazy. So I signed up for 5 classes, and I knocked that 2-year degree out in a year.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Wow.
And then, I did a little stint at Williamson County Attorney's Office as a paralegal, and realized that I'm not going to be a lawyer. So again, when you think that you're going to be something, and, just be open to change.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And now, women who govern.
Now, women who govern. Yeah. So as I'm going through my education and doing research, I'm noticing these huge gaps, and I'm doing, conferences, and I'm doing online. I'm getting memberships with the ICMA, the TMA, the TCMA, TML, all municipal governing bodies within what I want to do, public administration. And I'm noticing this trend of women. So I start researching women in municipal seats in elected office, and notice this huge gap. And this 80-20, it's a male-dominated role, and it has been for 150 years, 160 years. And, why is that? So I'm questioning, why is that? What is the roadmap to get there? So I start searching for a roadmap and realize there is no roadmap. There's so many great resources out there, don't get me wrong. But if you're not willing to sit down and go hunt and spend hours hunting for those resources to give you that correct roadmap, it's not going to happen. So I created the roadmap. I sat and created this integrated intelligence platform. I've been doing AI since 2022. When a good friend of mine said, hey, you need to get on the wait list for this ChatGPT thing. So I was in on the wait list before it opened up, and got in and did that, and started coding and building this intelligence platform. And it just became, I built it for myself.
Yeah.
I built it. I need the roadmap. This is where I'm going to track everything, my shadowing, my, conferences, all of the municipal guidelines and ethics and all of this stuff. And I was like, oh, this is just beyond me.
Yeah.
This needs to be for other women, and other women need to realize that they can lead cities. They can be in these positions. They can be economic development directors. They can be city managers. They can be in elected office. And it's an easier path than you think. You just have to have a correct roadmap. So that's what Women Who Govern
A
is.
correct roadmap and an awareness.
Yes.
Because when you and I chatted the other day, you said, why can't a girl who's fresh out of college step into this type of a leadership role?
Right.
And I just feel like more often than not, everybody's looking for this entry level. They're like, oh, I don't have experience. And they're just sitting here with a bunch of confusion and no pathway.
And that was the biggest thing for me. So while I'm in school, I'm like, look, I'm going to get all these degrees, but I have no experience in municipal governance. I have no experience in elected office. Yet I have 30 years of business experience at an executive level. So some of that should be able to translate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time when I'm looking at these positions and I'm researching salaries and all of this, it said, okay, you need a bachelor's in public administration, an MPA is preferred, 5 years experience minimum. Nobody's got that coming out of school.
Mm-mm.
So within Women Who Govern, there are places where you can go shadow city managers. That's experience. You can get on boards. That's experiences. You can get on advisory boards for economic development. That's experience. So you're gathering that experience. So that gives you more credibility when you go and apply for these positions. And there's a resume builder in there, and it just has your resume already built in. And as you're doing it, it uploads. And we have a talent library. So, yeah.
And what's the footprint? Austin, Texas.
Oh, it's nationwide.
Nationwide.
So you can be in Tennessee and you can put in the drop down Tennessee, and it will populate every single municipal governance in Tennessee, in your county, what you need for even in the elected office, what the rules and guidelines and governances are for your state, your county, your city. Yeah.
Mind blown. I feel mine. I'm just like trying to keep up with all the things.
Yeah.
But I go back to your values. It's a driver, right?
Yeah.
I'm never going to give up. But then you take it to the next level and you like reach out to the people who are coming up behind you.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. So for me, it's always do everything, do all things in excellence, right? So don't half-ass anything. Just if you're going to do it with everything that you've got, and do it excellently as if you're doing it unto the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. So you're a busy woman.
I am. I'm busy, but I love being busy. Busy is good for somebody with an ADHD brain.
But you're able to keep it all moving forward.
Yes. Yeah.
Because like you've said, you've already excelled in your AI world.
Yeah.
You've launched the Women Who Govern. You're spending your time right now focusing on the degrees.
Yes.
And you said you've got some kiddos as well.
Oh, I have 3 grown children. I have 5 grandchildren. Yeah. Yeah.
So more time to be with them.
Yeah. I mean, when we do get to spend time together, yeah, it's great.
And travel.
Oh, I love to travel. Yeah. We just got back from Thailand. We're going to England next week, and then we're going back to Thailand in October. We just booked that again. So I love to travel.
I love it.
If I can travel, we're going to travel.
So you look at your calendar and you're like, okay, 8 weeks of school here, Thailand.
Yeah. And I actually did school in Thailand.
Oh,
okay. I'll actually front load. So before we leave for England next week, I front loaded everything to finish my classes for summer.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks ahead. Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel so inspired. It's kind of hard to keep up, ma'am, with all the things you're up to.
I thought about when I was driving over here, and I remember you saying it's about books.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it that
the books that shaped me?
So the books that shaped me, and I thought about that a lot because I read a lot. I don't sit and read a book. I listen. I can't physically sit and read a book. My brain is just not wired that way. So I will listen a lot to books. And I remember picking up a book when I first got to this country, and I think it's like 36 years ago now. And I had left my family in England. I had nobody in this country. I came with a suitcase, and my husband had just freshly got saved. And I think somebody gave him this book, And, when you're sitting in in a house on base housing, we have no furniture. We literally have just got married. He's in the military, very low rank. And I obviously can't work because I'm still doing my immigration. So we had like a rug and a pair of curtains. I think that's all we owned. And I remember seeing a book that he had left out, and it was called Prison to Praise. And it's an old book, and it's a book that you could read in an afternoon. And that is the one book that I think shaped who I am as an adult. And I don't even know if you can get this book anymore, but it's called Prison to Praise. It's a tiny book, and it talked about the freedom that comes from praising God. And whatever situation that you're in, praise him in that situation, through that situation. So whatever difficult time you're going through, praise him.
Yeah.
Whatever great time you're going through, praise him, because it unlocks the prison that you're held in by not praising him. Because if you're not praising him, you're sitting in worry, doubt, and feelings of fear. So that really is something that I would say. Praise God in everything that you do, even if it doesn't feel like a good time to do it.
And were you a Christ follower in that moment?
I really wasn't. I was not a Christ follower in that moment. No. But that book really shaped me.
It made an impression.
It did.
How long later would you say before you did decide?
I think it was a good, so funny story. I actually got saved just to shut my husband up. Like, I'm going to be real honest with you. Because when he got saved, he was sold out.
Oh.
And, that was not something that I grew up with. You don't go to church in England unless it's for a funeral, a christening, or a wedding. That's it. And you meet Jesus every Christmas when The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is played on TV.
Wow.
Right? And
yeah.
Easter when you're eating your chocolate. That's about as much as Jesus as I knew. I knew he was real, but it was like that. So I really got saved to shut him up because I was tired of him preaching to me. So really, I had a real heart conversion probably 2 years into our marriage. It was a tough first 2 years.
Yeah.
But that book, I read that probably within the first 2 months of moving to America. And I'll never forget it. Even here we are 36 years later.
So do you feel like you read it? You said it's a smallish book. It's powerful.
Very powerful.
Was it like data stored in the back? Or would you feel like you kind of exercised the principles even though you weren't truly living your life as a Christ follower?
I did not exercise the principles because I didn't understand the principles. Before you're saved, you have this veil.
Yeah.
But that book was so impactful. The stories in that book of pure resilience and not giving up in the hardest times, and something as simple as prayers, which was totally foreign to me, that unlocked that prison, just stayed with me. Wow. It just really stayed with me. And then I think when I finally did have a heart transplant, it kind of, okay, that makes real sense to me now. So it's got me through some of the hardest, most difficult times in my life. And I don't even know where that book is today. Like that was in New York, and I never seen that book again after New York.
Wow. It's almost like it marinated in your mindset for a bit.
Yeah.
Like it was encapsulated, and then when the time was right, it was able to flourish in your life.
Yeah, 100%. And I've often gone back to that book and been like, that's a book that really shaped me. And probably nobody's ever even heard of that book.
I can say I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
I am curious, though, if it's still available.
Yeah, it's a very old book. It's only about this big. Tiny book. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love, I guess, the through line that through your entire life of never giving up, always being open to kind of like pivot when life happens, and then just being open.
Yeah.
Open to the next opportunity that may not be defined, but there's goodness out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's always going to be goodness. It might be difficult to get to the goodness. It might be a real rough road, but at the end of it, there's goodness.
Yeah. And you're doing your part to crunch some of the challenge and bring goodness.
Yeah.
Where there's
if I can do anything, that would be the legacy I want to leave, no matter what you go through. And listen, I've been through some real tough things, but the resilience. I'm very resilient and, driven, and I'm not going to quit. But I also think that's also the Holy Spirit within me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not going to quit and I can do it with all the things that I've been through, I can see another woman doing the same thing. And if I can impart any wisdom in that, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it till I take my last breath.
Amen, sister. Amen. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for leading the life that you lead. Like I said at the beginning, a light. You are a light in this world. So if the folks here are interested, you said you've got a platform established for the governing.
Yes.
What other ways can they connect with you?
So womenwhogovern.com is a great way. I actually put out a newsletter every Tuesday. It's literally a 5-minute read. So if you're on the fence, that tells you what women are doing in your community, how you can get involved in your community, and one takeaway to help you within that journey. So it's a real quick, I don't want to clog up nobody's inbox. It's a real quick 5-minute read. So Women Who Govern, Nichola Cotto, on Instagram, my Facebook, Nichola Cotto. A very open book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your time, your story, and your inspiration with us.
Thank you.
The world is a better place because you're making your impact.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us for one more conversation. We're going to all check out and see if that book is active.
Yeah, check it out.
Hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in for another conversation. These conversations are aimed at empowering, educating, and just enlifting each of us up in our journey on life. I am always open to connecting with you as a potential guest or as a sponsorship opportunity. And there's ways to connect with me on my website, angiesmithsummitconsulting.com. You can book some time with me. We can chat, we can explore, and maybe we can go on the next leg of our journey together, which might even involve some life coaching. I'm here to connect, I'm here to grow, and I'm here for you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I look forward to chatting and visiting again soon. Thank you.